Hey everybody, my name is Sarah Robb. I'm a coach and speaker, and today on the Prosperity Show, I'm going to be showing you how to turn your pain into purpose.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show. I'm your host, Prosper Taruvinga, and today we're joined by Sarah Robb, a powerhouse in the realm of transformational coaching. Now, Sarah, how are you doing today?
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you very much for having me and looking forward to today's show.
Absolutely. Well, the pleasure is all mine. I've been watching your stuff and looking at what you've been doing, and I can't wait to share you with everybody else on the call today. And for those that are wondering who Sarah is, so Sarah is a certified coach, NLP Master Practitioner, and speaker with a knack for helping people break through mental barriers that hold them back. But here's what actually makes Sarah's story so inspiring. She's actually turned an immense personal grief into a catalyst for growth. And she's also gone from struggling with anxiety and depression to actually then guiding others through their toughest challenges. So if you have ever felt stuck, I think Sarah's story is going to give the much needed perspective, and her expertise will show you that transformation is not only possible, but closer than you think. So stick around. I think this episode promises to be as enlightening as it is empowering. Now, Sarah, I could go on and on talking about things I know nothing about. Let's just dive into the work that you're doing right now. You actually help clients identify and break through the mental patterns that keep them stuck. What makes you the best person to be saying this and doing this for other people?
I think the reason that I am the best person for the job is because I've done it in my own life. And there's so many people out there, who are reading off textbooks or doing the study, which was all very well and good. But for me, I've walked through the fire in my own life, and I've been able to unlock those patterns myself, work through my own childhood trauma and the grief of some really important people in my life. And now I believe that I had been through that trauma and that pain so that I could help other people step into their potential and that they could unlock the things within inside them. So for me, it's really about me going first and knowing that I've done it in my own life. It gives me the ability to show people how to do it in their own life.
Absolutely. And you know what I respect about that, Sarah? So many people, especially in the coaching realm, over a course of a weekend, might just walk through some burning coals and on their way home, buy a laptop and officially call themselves a coach. But you've actually had lived experience, and you can literally talk from you having, like you said, gone through that stuff. Now, you've experienced profound loss early in life, like you have alluded to. How have these events sort of shaped your journey into coaching and supporting others through their struggles?
I think for me, we might get into my story a little bit, but when you lose both your parents at a really young age, at the age of 26 for me, you've really got to question life. And, I played a lot of the victim game there for a little bit, like, why me? And why is my life gone this way? And then there was a really pivotal point on my journey about 18 months after my mum died. And I just started asking myself, well, why not you? And everything started to change for me when I switched out of that victim mindset and started realizing that I could either choose to suffer and play the poor me, this has happened in my life, or I could take that pain and I could do something good with it. And I chose to take that energy and that powerful energy that I had and turn it into something that could help other people. And I truly believe that there's so much power in turning your pain into your purpose.
Absolutely. I quite like that. And obviously, you've obviously dealt with the grief that comes with, losing, very pivotal and loved ones in your life, but you didn't let that bog you down. Yes, you did go through that 18 months, like you said, where, you were wondering why me, why now, and why this. But there was a pivotal moment where you literally decided not to be a victim anymore. Now, Sarah, a lot of people don't get to see or experience that or notice it or let alone take action on that pivotal moment. First of all, could you put a light on it? Because fish don't see the water that they swim in. What sparked this shift and how did it then lead to the transformational work that you're doing today?
Yeah, great question. For me, I saw the old pattern that I had. So after my father died when I was 20 years old, he fell off a balcony really suddenly. And then there was a lot of self-destruction after that. There was a lot of burning bridges. And I ultimately became a person that I didn't really like. And I did a lot of bad things in my early 20s. And so when it came to the second time, it was that I'm not going to repeat those patterns and I'm not going to do that self-destruction. So I had learnt the lessons from the past. And I think that's a really important thing, is that when you turn around and self-reflect on the past, there's so many clues that can help you grow as a person and can help you evolve. But if you keep going through life in tunnel vision, just thinking everything's happening to you and not picking up on those lessons and that wisdom, you're going to keep repeating the same pattern over and over again. And so after my mum died, I really looked at the past grief and I was like, I'm not going to repeat that pattern. I have learnt the lesson. And that was really, for me, what changed. And so when you talk about shining the light for people, it's like you got to look back at some of the things that have happened in your life and ask yourself, do I want to keep doing that? Do I want to keep taking those same steps and actions? And for me, those steps and actions were in alignment with suffering, and I didn't want that in my life anymore.
Oh, I can only imagine. But sorry, you can look at that age. No one deserves to have both their parents at any time in their life leaving them. So wouldn't you have sought blame or just wanted that something that was fair for you as well? Because that's how a lot of people would approach this.
And to be completely honest, I was in that space for some time, and there was a lot of questioning, as I said, why me? And then I started to reflect on that and realize that that mindset and that perspective on life was only going to create more suffering. It was only going to create more heartache. And so I really had to sit back and go, well, if both of my parents have died at 26, do I want to live the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years in this space of poor me and suffering and why did this happen to me? Or do I want to take the courageous choice to go, hey, this has happened, yes. And a lot of it, I couldn't change and it felt unfair, but I can help a lot of people. I can really do something with my life. And through that immense pain, I was able to shine the light on it, find the wisdom and the gold, and now be able to provide that to other people.
Did you maybe have any support or any networks that you would have maybe used as a crutch? Because, I mean, obviously, I was joking to you earlier that at 26, I don't think I even knew how to write my own name. I don't specifically mean the letters, but I mean who I am and what that represented at that particular time.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely didn't do it alone. And I think it's really important for anyone listening is that you don't have to do it alone, whether it be grief, whether it be depression, whether it be a struggle. There is people out there who want to support you, have the tools and the strategies that can take you out of that dark place. So for me, yeah, I had a lot of people supporting me. And one of the things I found the most beneficial on my journey was investing in myself. And, they say the best investment you'll ever make is the one in yourself. And as soon as I started putting time, finances into me and my healing journey, everything began to change. We are so quick to spend money on all of the external things, whether it be, getting your nails done or for women, a lot of these superficial things. But then as soon as it comes to doing the internal work, a lot of people have this, oh, do I deserve it? Oh, but for me, I was like, I just wanted to learn. I wanted to grow. And honestly, that investment I've made has paid back 100-fold.
Absolutely, and congratulations for choosing you, because like you were saying, everybody else would have been fetal position, woe is me, where what am I going to do, and things of that nature. But the reason why a lot of people curl into that fetal position is fear. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like they're really afraid of what's going to happen next, or the fear of the unknown. And did you ever come across any, even though you were self-improving and things of that nature, but were there any sort of fears that would have crippled anyone that wouldn't have taken the route that you took?
I think it's a natural human thing, is the fear of the unknown. And there was definitely times where I wondered to myself, like, can I do it? What's next? Where am I going? Sometimes I still can find myself in a little bit of that fear. We're all human, and it's all an innate response. Is humans like certainty? We're creatures of comfort. And so when there is that unknown, you really need to have the tools and strategies to learn how to be able to break through that and step into that discomfort and step into that fear, because nothing grows in comfort. And I think we've got so comfortable, or a lot of people got so comfortable, that your dreams are on the other side of that comfort. And so for me, I learned that early on. So when I started getting that feeling of fear, my coaches and the people that were supporting me continued to nurture me and continue to step into that place, because I wasn't going to build a business. I wasn't going to stand on stages by staying in the comfort zone. So yes, I think there has definitely been fear, but it's learning how to work with that emotion and how to actually step into it to follow your dreams and do the things you want to in life.
But Sarah, in the comfort zone, there's cushy marshmallows and coffee, cocoa, hugs from people that feel sorry for us, and things of that nature, comfy blankets. Should I keep going? I mean, you you've actually shared the importance of choosing healing over suffering, even though I was painting a picture of, marshmallows and comfy, whatever it is. But when all of that is taken away, the suffering remains. How do you actually then help people make that choice in their own lives, to at least eat the glass today and then choose the marshmallows tomorrow?
Yeah, good question. I think for me is really understanding that you are the creator of your reality. You can choose healing or you can choose suffering. You can choose to let a situation make you, or you can choose to let it break you. At the end of the day, ultimately, our choice is the most powerful thing that we have. And at any given time, you can change the direction of your life with a choice. And, we make, between 30,000 and 60,000 choices every day. And ultimately, where you get to in your life is a series of choices. And so for me, when I'm helping people understand how to break through barriers and break through things, ultimately they also have to know that if they're going to stay in this dark, harder place, they're also in some way, subconsciously, a lot of the time, choosing that place. And for me, it was about making choices that aligned with the future I want. And the key as well for me is it has to come from a place of self-love and self-compassion, and helping nurture people to take those choices and make those decisions that are going to benefit or work towards the life that they want. So, I know you would know the power of choice. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we really are the masters of our own destination, and so many of the things that we think happening to us are literally happening for us. And from what you're saying, I'm actually learning and, solidifying the fact that no matter what it is that's happening to you, you literally have to be paying attention, because one day, not only will you have a good story to tell on the online prosperity show, but you can speak in front of audiences and inspire so many people. And this is something that you've been able to do. I mean, you speak in front of hundreds of people, and that's no small feat. And the thing that you talk about is literally the thing that could break you. Now,
Yeah.
how does it actually feel, or what does it take to transition from a place of deep grief to actually be the one that's spearheading and inspiring other people, because some people might be able to heal something, but any reminder or a piece of clothing or a photograph will just send them back to square one. But you're out there literally inspiring others to want more, be more, and have more, using the
Yeah.
deepest thing that actually could break you.
Yeah. I think it's the, you know, they say that in life, when things break you, you've got to let the light in, and when things break, the light will come in. And that's essentially what happened in my life. Is it broke me in ways that hurt so much, but in ways that let the light in. I could see the importance, and it really comes back to that deeper purpose of, I've got a message to share with the world, and I feel like I won't have fulfilled my potential in life if I don't continue to drive towards that purpose. There is so much to give. I've got so much that I've learned through my journey that I just want to give back. And I want people to understand that we overcomplicate things. We make things mean everything. We create stories. We get stuck in tunnel vision. But life is actually pretty simple. And for me, I've really understood the power of living in the present. I've understood the power of gratitude. And you know, I get emotional even saying it. Like, it took both of my parents dying to learn these things. However, it's a gift to be able to share it with the world and to share it with clients so that they can take these pieces of gold and apply them in their own life. So yeah, through deep pain, I've also found deep love, because the reality is you will only grieve if you've loved, because grief is just love turned inside out. And so now it's my opportunity to bring what I've learned to the world, speak up about it, and really shine a light on grief, on death, on fulfilling your purpose, and knowing that none of it happens in the comfort zone, as we said.
Like that. I like that. To whom much is given, much is required.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can even hear my voice is shaking just saying that. What you just said was really powerful there. Have you ever heard of a concept of kintsugi?
No, I'd love to know a little bit more. How do you
So
spell it?
it's a Japanese way of how do I put it? It's a Japanese way of restoration. So when an important vase or a artifact is broken, they literally put it back in piece in its place, but they use gold as the sealant, which actually now makes this vase, the broken one, much
Yeah,
more valuable in this new state than it was in the old state. And I feel like this is in kintsugi personified in what it is that you're saying. And thank you for going through this journey, because I think with all the learnings that you've done, you've now actually combined personal experience with your coaching, your speaking, and your NLP and everything else to just really bring back this very valuable, piece that people can actually then consume and also better their lives. Now, I mentioned speaking, coaching, and NLP. How are you integrating all of this to help your clients sort of achieve this lasting change, even if they're broken, but for them to actually feel worthy after
yeah,
you've kintsugi'd them?
yeah, totally. And the key is that it's really important for people to know that, you know, I think people come to me a lot of the time and they think, oh, Sarah will fix me. I don't actually fix anyone. I just show them the path, hold them accountable, and help them integrate the tools in their life. We have the answers within ourselves. I'm just that person shining a light so that they can figure those and help discover those for themselves. For me on the journey, the most important thing is always starts with awareness. Awareness is the most fundamental thing that we must have before we can create any form of change. I talk about the 3 A's to transformational change. The first one is awareness. The second one is action. And the third one is accountability. And when you mix awareness, action, and accountability into a program, you can create transformational change. Now, lots of people can see where they fall off the bandwagon. Some people aren't taking action. Other people are taking action, but they haven't got someone holding them accountable. So for me, it's really mixing the ingredients that create transformational change. And then I weave in different pillars. And those pillars are the ones that helped me create the transformational change in my own life. And so they're the ones that also I provide and help people understand in their own lives so that they can go on their own journey of self-discovery and of transformation and becoming the version of themselves that they love, and that they, want to keep driving in the right direction in their life.
Fantastic. I quite like this, but Sarah, there's somebody who's rolling their eyes right now and they can even see the breakfast that they had in the morning, just saying, you haven't been what I've been through. You haven't seen how my parents treat me, or you didn't see how I was bullied, or you didn't see how they mistreated me, or I was abused, or things of that nature. I mean, you've helped many people with overcoming whatever it is that might be a limiting belief or mental block for them. I know you get them to go through awareness, action, and accountability, but people are different.
Mm-hmm.
How do you tailor this to specific people?
Well, it's very much about getting the back history first. You have to understand that 0 to 7 is the imprint phase. So that's where our subconscious mind is just a sponge, soaking in different traumas, different beliefs. So it's very important to understand that imprint phase, or what's happened in somebody's life. My program's not really a blanket program. Everybody transitions through it, relating it to their own life. Now, the key for me is, there's so many people who have had things happen in their life which are harder than mine. But at the end of the day, what's happened in your life isn't necessarily your fault. However, it is your responsibility to heal. And for me, my purpose is impacting generational change. And what that means to me is that, I came from a long line of addiction. And a lot of people have a lot of trauma that go back generations, but it can stop with you. It doesn't have to flow down to your family and your children. You can make that intentional choice, as we've talked about, to create those changes in yourself and therefore ripple that through your own family. And that really is my purpose, is helping people break free from those generational traumas that have often been holding them and their family in some really challenging places.
Sarah, I sincerely believe in life we're here to live, to learn, and to contribute. And you've lived the experience that we're talking about today. You've gone on and learned how to heal yourself, and now you're sending the elevator down to help others be, do, and have that too for themselves, because you're bringing to them that awareness, that action, and that accountability for them to actually then transform into people that stop the generational curse.
Yeah.
You are literally giving people back to themselves.
I haven't thought of it like that, and I love it.
And you can imagine if you've been going through all of this and somebody tells you, hey, it could be better. Can you imagine what that would do moving forward for that particular person? I mean, if you would maybe have to choose one aspect of the work that you're doing, because there's got to be something, that really excites you the most, what would it be and why?
I think it's helping people unlock their potential. I think there's too many people who know they've got something deep within inside themselves, and they need that person to show them the key, but more importantly, help them use that key to unlock their greatness. And for me, that's deeply what I'm passionate about, because it pains me to see so many people with so many gifts and so many things to give to the world who are stuck in the fear of failure, who are stuck in self-doubt, who are stuck in the ego or the self-beat up or the criticism. Pains me to see them not fulfilling their true potential. And if I could give anything in my life, is helping people get that key and unlock that so that they can live the life that they dream of or fulfill their potential.
More and more, what this is opening up for me, Sarah, indulge me for a little bit. I'm from Zimbabwe in Africa. Did you know where that is?
I do know where that is, yes.
We're not as good with the rugby as you guys are, but at like the age of 13 and the age of 16 for girls and boys respectively, we're sort of called in by the village elders, and then they proverbially tap you on the shoulder, and then they say it's your turn to lead. And it's akin to like a rite of passage, but it's just a pattern break. You would understand this, where you're literally going from being a child to becoming an adult, and now becoming responsible for your actions, behavior, and who you're becoming. And with what you're doing, the whole awareness, the whole action, because so many people don't take ownership with whatever responsibilities they need to take. And the actual accountability is akin to somewhat of a rite of passage, where you're breaking that pattern for people who have now just become fully grown babies, and no one has told them it's your turn
Yep.
to lead your life, your health, your wealth, or whatever it is that comes along with it.
Yep.
I don't know. What do you think of this conclusion?
I think your words, I couldn't formulate them and as beautifully as you just said. I couldn't agree more. I think too many people fall reliant on society's pressures, on what society says you should do. In New Zealand, and I know Australia, that the conditioning or the paradigm that we have here is, finish high school, go to university or get a tertiary education, then find a partner, then get married, then have a child, and then if you're lucky, earn some money and maybe do this and have your white picket fence. And for me, a lot of people I see, they do all of these things and then they are unhappy, and it's like we fall into the conditioning of what society says. And for me, that was broken after my parents died, and I had to find who I was and figure out what I wanted in my life. And that really helped me step out of society's pressures. And helped me lead my own life. But there's comfort in trying to follow someone else's paradigm. And again, it's comfortable. It's why so many people do it. But then also why so many people feel unsatisfied.
So for those that are uninitiated, Sarah, where can they start connecting with you?
For me, the best place to connect is on Instagram or on LinkedIn. On Instagram, it's Spring with Sarah, and LinkedIn, it's Sarah Robb. Those are the two platforms that I love to connect. It's been awesome just having this conversation. I mean, you could talk about this stuff for days, right? And I know that there's lots of personal development podcasts out there, and there's lots of things, but for me, it's really about, how do you take all of this knowledge and then apply it? And that for me is where I feel as a coach I separate from other coaches, is helping people actually integrate the learnings, the lessons into their life and do the doing. So much you can learn, but if you don't take action and integrate it into your life, you're going to be in the same space. So for me, my philosophy is integration over information. How do you do the doing? Because that's where the change comes from.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for giving us inroads to connecting with you. I'll make sure those links are in the show notes so that people can actually get started on their journey. Now, you mentioned something, the lessons, the, the actual learning, because it's from that learning that people can then become aware. People can then act because, you can't hit a target that you cannot see, and you can't ask somebody to be to make you accountable on things that you don't know you need accountability on. Like if we all had that, we'll just have somebody just beating off cake and sweets from our hands, and that will be our health plan. You know what I mean? you know but from the outside, somebody is probably watching this right now, and thank you so much. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to the Online Prosperity Show? They're looking at you right now, Sarah. Look at where you are in your room there. Everything seems to be in the right place. Nothing seems off from
Yeah.
where it's supposed to be. It might seem like you've always had it together. People would just maybe look and be introduced to you right now and be like, oh my God, I wish I could speak like Sarah, or I can be as confident as she is. If I was this person, I would have been bawling with my eyes right now, but I can see you're holding back. But what we don't know is the whole story.
Yeah.
What we don't know is everything else that makes you seemingly strong today.
Mhm.
Is there maybe an invisible lesson, since you have already introduced us to learning, that you learn that others might not see?
Oh, there's so many. It's more about where to start and in what area. I reflect on my life and the lessons and the learnings that I've had the privilege of learning about over the last 10, 15 years. But a couple of the main learnings and lessons for me is, firstly, that people are doing the best they can with the resources they have available to them at any given time. And my father died because he was an alcoholic. And there's a lot of hate and a lot of anger and a lot of resentment there. And that one lesson and fully embodying that, my father didn't have the tools. He didn't have the resources available to him to be the father that I dreamt of. And so that learning for me was very, very pivotal on my journey. It was one thing knowing it, it was another thing integrating it. So that was a very important learning and lesson. And a lot of people know it, but have they integrated it? That's the question. So very, very important learning and lesson there for me, which really did change the trajectory of my life. Um, there's so many lessons that you can find within grief. As I said, grief is just love. So for me, it's not, I'm actually not this maybe strong person that everyone sees. My grief follows with me on my journey. I allow myself to feel, I allow myself to grieve still, and I allow myself to cry. And for me, it's important to realize that that's just love. It's not the same as it was straight after mum and dad died. It has changed and transformed into something else. But emotions are energy in motion. We want to be able to feel our emotions. We want to be able to work with them. And so for me on my journey, it's not about becoming this stoic person. It's about learning how to navigate my emotions, learning how to communicate them, be vulnerable, share them, so that other people know that it's safe to talk about emotions. And so that's been a really important learning for me, is learning about emotions. But, I could go on and on about the learnings and lessons in my life. They are in different sections, different categories. But for me, those are two very important ones that have directly come from both of my parents dying.
Absolutely. And, for those that are watching right now, somebody might just still be feeling stuck where they are right now. Their pattern hasn't broken, and both you and I have failed. Even though they were watching this video hoping something would break. What's maybe one thing that they can maybe start doing today so they can begin their own journey for transformation?
The simplest answer is action. They must take some form of action, whether that's an action to reach out to somebody, whether it's an action to reach out to you, whether it's an action to get in touch with somebody like myself. But if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got.
Wow.
So how do you become unstuck? You take an action at its most, basic form. So if you're sitting there going, I'm still stuck, well, ask yourself, what action am I going to take? Because once you get into momentum, it's harder to stop a moving car than a parked car. So it's really important to get into action. People get stuck because of the lack of action. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. If you start, just even if you're sitting right now, just stand up. That action is just gonna get your brain to think, okay, something has changed. What are we doing? And eventually you're already in a whole different world and energy sense. So I viscerally believe in action. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a grandiose action or, lifting heavy things or whatever it is, although that usually works, but just do something. And that changes your physiology and naturally it changes your state. And once your state has changed, you start thinking different, blood flows differently and things of that nature. Now, talking of action, I mean, obviously you're a lady of action, you're always doing stuff. What's next? You've introduced us to your world. What can we anticipate now moving forward that we can happily follow you on Instagram to look up for and things like that?
Yeah, great question. What's next? I love that question. For me, it's really about continuing to share my message. More stages, bigger audiences, group programs, helping these high performing women unlock their potential. I've been in business for 3 years now, and I was kind of in that figuring it all out. You start business because you've got this purpose and this passion, and on the journey you're like, wow, I started because of this, now I'm learning about marketing and sales and all of these other things that you don't realize when you start a business. For me now, it's really about getting my message out to the audiences. It's speaking in front of people, it's sharing my story, and really the power of unlocking your mind and learning that you are the creator of your reality. You can go wherever you want in this lifetime. It's all based in choice. You choose. And I really want to get my message out there. So that's what's next for me.
Absolutely. Well, I think you're already on the right path. You just did that on the Online Prosperity Show, and I can't thank you enough for gracing us with your time, your expertise, your knowledge. I mean, Sarah, your life story and your experience have so much value for somebody who, if they just sit back and watch, what you've been through and what you've gone through, there are so many lessons. There's so many aha moments that I really appreciate you taking the time to spend the time with us on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute privilege. And to anyone listening, do connect. I would love to be in touch.
Absolutely. What an incredible conversation we just had. I mean, I think Sarah's story is a powerful reminder that even the toughest challenges can become stepping stones to a brighter future. And if you found value in today's episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And one thing I would actually ask you to do is share this episode with somebody going through a really tough time in their life. They could have lost a parent, they could have lost a loved one, a son, a daughter, a sister, or just some sort of loss that they have encountered. And just hopefully they will be able to learn from the gems that Sarah has shared. If you can't do anything for them right now, this will be the best thing you would have done for them, just sharing this particular episode. And as always, stay tuned for more inspiring stories and practical tips right here on the Online Prosperity Show. Check out the links in the show notes and connect with Sarah. Until next time. Keep striving for growth and prosperity. Bye for now.